Welcome to another episode of URC Chumps podcast. It's episode 83. Unfortunately, Jacques learned what it's like to have in-laws because they're over at his house right now. I believe Dara is probably still celebrating, and our resident German is busy with works. So you got me this week again. I'm so glad to have you guys with me this week. I think we need to jump straight into it, and it's going to be a quick episode. Obviously, results not going the way I wanted it to go this week, but yes, I think we do need to discuss what really happened this week. So once again, welcome to this episode, and let's jump straight into it. Going to the round of 16. Uh, yeah, Sharks started off very well in their game against Connacht. Everything was going well. Then the rain came down and literally watched Connacht over the line. Sharks just didn't even look like they knew where they were. It was the same thing against Sale Sharks as well. When they played against them, Sharks versus Sharks, seemed pretty decent first half, second half. I just think it's also got to do with the traveling from the South African sides. No excuse, just I think that's what's happening. I think our traveling is not working in our favor. When it works, it works. When it doesn't, it goes horribly wrong. Montpellier hosted Perpignan. Obviously, Montpellier just dominated that game from get go. There was no way that was going to stop. Exeter going up against Munster. Yeah, that was to be not really expected. I was hoping the fact that Munster should were going to be bringing back a lot of their players, obviously didn't perform the way that they wanted to, and I think yes, results showed, but not in the way that we would have wanted results to show. Uh, the way it went down. Yeah, so I am just confirming results as well as we go along. I see my thing did mix up a few of the. But at the same time, on Friday was Northampton and Casters. Northampton obviously coming out on top there. Casters not really holding it out. Montpellier is actually, yeah, let's carry on from this way. Bath versus Saracens. Yeah, there we go. That seems a bit right and mixed up at the same time. I do apologize. It is actually me who mixed it up. So yeah, left is Challenge Cup, right is yeah. So I mean, let's carry on with Challenge Cup, being Exeter and Munster. Yeah, that being the way it went that day. Let me just confirm. There we go. Yeah. Uh, Everything is looking on point right now. Benetton versus Cardiff. Yeah, 38-35. It's a good thing for the Stormers if this is the way Cardiff's going to be because we do have them coming up. Uh, Benetton, obviously a great performance for them. Yeah. La Rochelle and Newcastle's 26-18. Don't see that one on there. Oh gosh, good thing I'm gonna double check. 18-26. Ulster versus Ospreys 28-24. The shock of the weekend, which came yesterday, being Stade Francais going down at home 31-36 to Dragons, and Zebra, of course, beating Paluesi 31-15 at home, which I mean, of course, a great result for them. But I mean, the big upset was that one that I was talking about now, being Paris losing out to Dragons. Then, of course, we had on the Champions Cup side, Northampton's beating Castres. Bath in a very close game with, from what I could hear from the commentators, a great performance from Thomas Toy, which I think is great with the fact that we slowly but surely inching up towards the international season. He was absolutely phenomenal for them, scrumming like a absolute one. Bath, of course, coming up 31-22. The game, very mixed feelings about this game. 28-27. Toulon were all over the Stormers in that game. Very well played by Toulon. The question now is the first yellow card was a yellow card in a rolling maul going straight towards the try line. That should have been a penalty try right there and then, which means the game could have been a little bit different. We could have still lost because we were there. Then that last try as well, for me, if his feet are behind the line, that's fine, but then you still need to be on your feet for the tackle. He was on his knees. There was also a play cutting across that's disrupting the line. He was offside when he cut across there. Um, yeah, I don't think Christoph had a very good game that game. Refereeing, not great. Glasgow had the Bulls, very close game, but Glasgow coming out on top. Toulouse, obviously going up against Bristol Bears, absolutely taking them apart. Yeah, that English side could not have any, couldn't even hold a candle light to Toulouse, to be honest. Toulouse looked like they were just going through the motions and it worked for them from what I saw. Harlequins hosted Sale Sharks and Harlequins lost at the Stoop. And then, of course, yesterday we had Bordeaux going up against Leicester Tigers. Bordeaux wiping the floor with Leicester. It looks like the French were definitely holding back nothing this weekend in the Champions Cup. And then Leinster hosting Edinburgh being a 49-31, which I thought was probably a little bit better than I was expecting from Leinster. Not Leinster, sorry, Edinburgh, because Edinburgh has been a bit floppy at the moment. But yeah. But then that brings us on to what is happening now in the quarterfinals. I will start off with the left being the Champions Cup. Bath is hosting Northampton Saints, and I really, really hope Bath puts Northampton down. So I will be cheering on Bath as much as I don't like Finn Russell, but go on Johan van Graan, get your boys over the line. Then, of course, Glasgow is hosting Toulon. Toulon away from home could be a little bit different. Also playing on a 4G pitch. I might just go Glasgow with this one. Leinster hosting Sale. Definitely going to go with Leinster there. And then Bordeaux hosting Toulouse. All starting off with the all English, ending off with the all French. That is going to be a hard game. Bordeaux is at home. Toulouse is great. A lot of French internationals in both the sides, which means they are going to know each other very well. And I think it is going to become one hell of an arm wrestle. I have a funny feeling Bordeaux is going to take it just because of being at home. Then Ulster is hosting La Rochelle. I'm probably going to go with Ulster. I still think they're one of the best teams in the URC this year, even though they haven't started off well. They are going pretty hardcore. Great attack. They on the top of the URC with a lot of the stats. So yeah, Montpellier hosting Connacht. I'm going to probably have to go with Montpellier with this one. Zebra hosting Dragons. Whoever wins is probably coming to the end of their what you call it. So yeah, I am probably going to say Zebra is going to take this one. And then, of course, Benetton hosting Exeter. I'm going to say Exeter is going to take it. Yeah. Like I said, this man over here, bit of an AI picture going around right now, showing Christoph Ridley with the ball. He did make some horrible calls. it's that whole question now that's been going around, and I'm probably going to sound a bit like a sore loser in a sense, but I do understand Stormers did also throw their game away. They didn't make the right decision at certain times. Toulon was holding them up over the line quite a few times. They should have tried a few different moves instead of what they did. However, that first yellow card that was given should have been a penalty try, which would have changed the aspect of the game at that point. Um, should have they gone for a drop goal? I know what's his name, Sasha is saying he should have gone for a drop goal. Unfortunately, he didn't. But that is the way of the game. Should it have gone either way? Yeah, it was a very well fought game by Toulon. Toulon did fantastic and everything. They unfortunately allowed us through a few times. Stormers completely and utterly were on the defense the whole time. We held up pretty well, but unfortunately, we did crack a few times and we allowed Toulon through. That is something we have to work on. And luckily for us, we have a week off when they're back here before we play our next game, which is at home against Connacht on the 18th. Connacht obviously has a game this week, which could work in the Stormers' favor when they come down next week to play us in the URC. But yes, I think that question that we're going to keep throwing around, and unfortunately, we're going to sound like a stuck record. We want um, consistency. We want the refs to be also be held accountable for certain games, even if it is a case of okay, we made a mistake. Here it is. We do apologize about it because otherwise, what happens is the noise gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Then you end up someone like Wayne Barnes who used to get death threats on a regular basis. We don't want to do that. Also, please understand, as the last thing I am asking for, he is human. They did make mistakes, but we do want the refs to step up and actually admit they made mistakes and apologize. We can't change the result, but if we get sympathy from the refs, I do believe it will be a little bit better for us. Um, I mean, I would actually like to hear your comments on that. Please like, share, subscribe to our channel. There's no your views below. What do you feel should be done about the refs? Should there be some sort of public forum, or should it be hidden behind and just say we do understand there were some mistakes, we are working behind it? Boom, there we go. We don't have to like point out the nitty gritty of where things go. Also, the way I see certain calls could be very biased towards how I see it compared to how someone else would see it. But yes, I think that is something we need to do. It is a factor of the game. Mistakes are made. We are going to have to accept it. No one is perfect. It also makes the game different to every single game. If every single game was blown the same way by AI or whatever, we would see certain people always win and certain people always lose. But yes, I see there's reports that's come out. Gutted, but Dobson and Stormers have reasons to feel encouraged. The fact that it was such a close game, and they get to concentrate a bit more on the URC. I also see Champions Cup robbed, Stormers robbed, and the Bulls get so near. Yeah, so unfortunately, they also missed out. But at the same time, Ackerman did say it's now time to concentrate on the URC. We're in the final clawing stages. We have to get there. Um, so yeah, it's all going on. It's great to see. We also had even come back this week in a bit of a mixed match of the team. I was a bit surprised in the team that the Storm, not the Stormers, the Sharks played. But yeah, I do think there was a few people missing in what they should have had, and the team that they did have. Yeah, I do think Sharks could be on the brink of a comeback for the end of the season. The fact that Evan's been off for 12 weeks is probably going to do him a world of good to come back in. We haven't seen the likes of Sia. Bongi should be coming back shortly as well, which is great. I mean, who else have they got that's out at the moment? I mean, the injury list is quite. Lorenzo Ulis as well is out. He'll be coming back. So, I mean, yeah, it's going to be great. I still don't know how much time Fussy has, but I do, if I remember, I read correctly, he is going to be out of the internationals coming up. We could probably only see him at the end of the internationals. By that, I mean by the end of year. But yeah, anyway, guys, thanks for listening to me. My fellow champions, please like, share, and subscribe. And be safe. Thanks very much. Cheers, guys. Bye.